Hello, Jonathan here, better known as @JG_Clark on Discord, and I'm here to demo to you Projects+Reviews plugin, which I'm delighted to say has now reached version 2. It's already, many people consider it a vital add-on to NotePlan, and my hope is that this late night labour of love, as I've created this over the last 4 years, is that more people can win in life and work. I don't know about you, but I have many different things that I do in life. I'm husband, father, son, church pastor, charity leader, and more besides. And trying to keep track of all those different things and trying to move them all forward is a big task and more than my little brain can manage. So I need some help with that. The Projects+Reviews plugin is there to help project-like activity, to help you keep track of what is going on and make sure you don't lose things. So this is all about projects and project-like activity. And I think there are more than just projects, there are areas and goals. And this little graphic helps me explain the difference between them. A project has a start date, it'll end at some point, and you can tell when it ends, and there are a series of steps. So it's good, for example, for building a website or moving house. An area, though, tends not to have an end date, but is still something that you need to keep track of. You have a responsibility for it, often with repeated things that you do. So, for example, keeping fit or maintaining the car. There are also goals, which I think are things where it's not as simple as a project. It's very difficult to define your activities all up front. Often you've no idea when it's quite going to finish. So, for example, learning a language or achieving world peace. Wouldn't that be nice? And this plugin is aimed to help you keep track of all of these things. And it's not a replacement for a heavy-duty project management tool where you're directing time estimates and dependencies, Gantt charts and all those sorts of things. You will need specialized software for that. But this sits on top of the very flexible and friendly NotePlan environment, which has a light touch, which makes it such a joy to use. So what I'm going to do is to show you some demo projects, areas and goals, and show you how the plugin helps with those. So here I have, I'm just looking at a demo directory here, folder with a number of things in it. And if I open the project lists, then you'll see what this looks like. So this is taking, it is looking at that set of projects, and it says there are 13 of them. And here's its view of those different projects. So for each one, it's showing a number of things. It's firstly showing the title of it, showing where it lives, then showing how frequently I think I need to review this activity. And that can be very different. It can be just a few days up to months, depending on the activity. This is telling me that it's already 90% complete, but there are 11 open tasks. The first of which, the next action I could be taking, is to check the breakdown cover on the car. Here's a different one, and there's less complete, and the colour on the side of it here indicates that. So if I look down here, I can see, oh, this is red, little of that is done. So maybe that's something I need to focus on. And it's also telling me that not only is this a project here, and it's started, but it is overdue. I'd aimed to complete this by now, and it's also telling me the little flag there, the end date that I'd put on it. Other projects, this one is now completed. I completed it 2 days ago. Here's a different one, which is paused, and you can see it's greyed out. It's still sitting there as a reminder that I might want to be coming back to that, but some things you just don't have the capacity for, or other things just mean you need to pause them. In fact, I think somewhere down here, yes, here is one I just decided to cancel. It seems little point at the moment in trying to work on world peace and stability when the world is such an unstable place, sadly. But that was an example of a goal that would be good to have. I can look at the detail, or I can change the details of any particular project just by clicking on that little icon, and I get then the chance to skip it forward a few weeks before I next need to review it. In a project, I can toggle it paused or unpaused. I can mark it as completed, cancelled, change the review interval. As I'm looking down this and reviewing them, I might suddenly think of something else that I need to do, and I can add it straight into that note. Or I can add a little progress indicator to it. So actually I'm going to look down here and say, here we are on this project. What I actually want to do now is to mark it complete. It's still showing there's one task outstanding, but that's fine. Sometimes that happens. I'm now going to mark it complete. And a little form pops up asking me some questions. So saying, do I want to archive this? It's a completed project. I no longer want to see this in this list, so it can then move it off into the archive part of NotePlan automatically. Do I want to add a summary line to my calendar note? I do actually. So what I like to do is in fact I'm going to make it each quarter, in the quarter note, to make a note of those projects that have been completed or cancelled. And then a final progress comment. So in fact at this point I'm going to say, still waiting on the company, but my part is done. I'm going to complete that. And then if I open the project list again, we'll see it has now disappeared because that's gone off to the archive. This is telling me, I'm overdue on this project. I haven't reviewed this in a while. Here's the next action I should have been doing, start to learn Blackbird Jazz version. Well, I'm now going to click on this. And then this will open up the note alongside the project list. So let's make that a bit wider there. And in fact, I'm going to say yes, I have started. I haven't finished, but I've started to do that. I can then say as well that I have finished the review of that particular item, and then it marks it now saying yes, I've done it, but it's still within a week that I need to review it because I've set this one to be reviewing quickly. Now you might be thinking, now where's the data to make this all work? And here it is. The metadata, the data about the project, is sitting here in the front matter of the project note. So here's the title of it, and then here are some dates. So here's the due date, the date I started it, the date I reviewed it, which I just said was just now, so it's updated the review date on it. I can change these manually if I want. I might say, actually, I only want to review this every 2 weeks. I could look at another one. I can click on a note title there and look at these details as well. And there I can see, actually, here's another one that I actually have completed. So I can either click in here and hit the complete button, or there are command bar versions of all of these as well. So I can say complete, and here it is, Projects and Reviews, complete project. Again, we're going to write this time into the yearly note. I don't need to add a comment. And it's disappeared from my list. Let me show you some of the settings you may find useful. So we go to the settings, Projects and Reviews, settings. Now at the moment I'm using perspectives to set the projects that we want to look at, and the perspectives are set by the dashboard plugin, which is a separate plugin that I've written. I'm going to turn that off for the moment, but here we can set which types of projects to review. So the note will need to contain one or more hashtags to say what sort of thing you're wanting to review. It doesn't have to be these three, it could be anything you like. The main other settings you'll want to check out is which folders to include or which folders to exclude, or both. The details are there about how to use those. But for example, I could change this to being home and take that off, save that. I now want to show you that we can change what we're seeing and how we're seeing it, particularly through this filter and order button here. So I can choose whether to see some or all of the different projects, areas, goals, or whatever else you have set up. I can also say I only want to see the projects which are ready for review, which would be a shorter number. When I click away, reduces it just to those which are overdue to be reviewed. I can turn on or off finished projects, pause projects. So for example, we turn off that, then home battery and the other one will disappear. Turn that back on, show the next actions or not, so they now are not showing. We also can change the order that they come. At the moment that's in just alphabetical order by the title, but you might want to be showing you them in review order from earliest to latest. So this one is the most, as it tells me, overdue to be reviewed. So I'm now going to use these buttons, which are a helpful way in to help go through a set of reviews in order. So if I hit start, it's going to highlight the first one here, and it's going to open it on the side. I'm going to make that a little bit wider so we can see the buttons more easily. So let me go through that. I make some changes to what I think is required, and then I can either say just simply finish that review, say I've now reviewed it and it's disappeared from that list of ones which are ready for review, or let's start the next one, grounds maintenance. Again, I can make some updates to that. For example, I could choose to change the review interval just manually if I wanted to, or of course I can use this control. I could say that actually I want to skip it by a month entirely. If I was going away, then there's no point in seeing what's needed until that point. So I could say skip for 1 month, and it updates that in the metadata and then removes it from the list, because at the same time I'm saying I've now reviewed that. We can start the review again, picking it up here after the ones which are paused. And again, let's say I've made some changes, and then the button here is finish review and then start the next one. So that's an even quicker way. So I can hit that, and it's marked that one as reviewed, and it takes me onto the next one straight away. You may see that in an individual project item here, there's a little info icon which shows what I think the status is last time I reviewed it. So for example, let's look at this one, tidy digital tasks and projects. At the moment it's just got a test comment in it. Let's say I want to update that. Well, again, I'm going to hit the edit button and then add progress. So I'm going to have an updated test comment, very instructive, I know. Now, it was suggesting that it was 33% done. Sometimes the actual progress can't be calculated accurately from the number of tasks that are completed in something. Perhaps you just haven't fleshed it out fully and you know that. So it was saying it was 33% done, but actually maybe I know that all the big stuff has happened and it's now 80% complete. Still some to do, but we've made good progress. So I simply add that there, and it is updated test comment, and now showing as 80% done. This is just a helpful note to yourself. You don't have to use it like all of this, but it's there if you want to use it. I should also explain how these tasks are created. So if I open this note, then it is saying that the next thing to do is resolve conflicted NP notes on iPad. And here is that task. It's the first one that is not completed in here. And if I open up the properties to show you, I've added a sequential tag. That's saying look down sequentially and just show the very next thing to do in that. Alternatively, I could take that off and then say manually label a particular task as being the next action, or in my case I've set that in the settings to be #NA. And so if I was to refresh this now, it is now showing me that the next one is Resolve Conflicting Notes on the iPhone, this task here. Again, you don't have to use it, but this next action can be a helpful mechanism to, at a glance, remind yourself what it was you were thinking you should need to do next. You might want to remember that there are folder views as well that are built into NotePlan, at least in the last few versions, that can be helpful as well. So looking at this same folder, there are different ways that you can look at it. This simple list view, but already it's showing me, because I've set which properties to look for, to pick up the due date and the review date and the icon. So it is showing me those for these projects. More useful possibly is a card-based view or a Kanban view that you might be used to. And here it is being organized by a group or grouped by status. So as a separate piece of front matter, you can also have a status tag or anything else you want. And here it's organized: not started, paused, started, uncategorized, etc. And what's good is that these two systems, the folder views and the Projects and Reviews plugin, can work together helpfully. One final thing I thought I would show you, a quick list of all the other things that have changed in Projects and Reviews version 2. Here's the new metadata model that we're using. It can automatically migrate the metadata for you the first time you use it. Some other things got easier. There is now an automatic refresh so that it can update itself. It all works much faster after the first time it's run because of caching behind the scenes. You can also convert an existing note into being a project very easily. It pops up a form to help you with that. And as I've shown you, it is now interactive with this modernized display. So thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you win in your life and your work. Bye for now.